Welcome to our Curious Amalgam, the weekly podcast brought to you by the Antitrust Law section of the American Bar Association. Our Curious Amalgam explores the fascinating and increasingly overlapping world of competition, consumer protection, data protection, and privacy law. Each week, we bring you leading global experts on the most compelling issues of the day. Enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome to Our Curious Amalgam, the podcast from the American Bar Association Antitrust Law section. I'm Anora Wang. Joining me today is some special guest we have for you, Mr. Iskandar Ismail, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Malaysia Competition Commission, which is known as MYCC. And he has been taking that role since 2018 after previously leading its investigation and enforcement division. Iskandar has been instrumental in shaping Malaysia's competition law regime, overseeing major cartel and market investigations and policy enforcements, policy developments. Before joining MYCC, he also worked as a prosecutor at the Central Bank of Malaysia and as assistant trial attorney at the United Nations International Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda in Tanzania. Very impressive bio, and welcome to OCA, Iskandar.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anora. Yeah, thank you for having us. Yeah, this is going to be our first time appearing in ABA podcast.
It's a privilege and pleasure of ours as well. Yeah. So for people who don't know MYCC or know it very well, perhaps you can talk about it a little bit, like, on a high level. What does MYCC do?
MYCC stands for Malaysia Competition Commission. It's a national competition agency established under Competition Commission Act 2010. We are an agency under Ministry of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living. So our role is to protect the process of competition. How we enforce the law is through many ways. So basically, we are all-rounder. We investigate and enforce the law against cartels and abusive monopolies or dominant players. We carried out market reviews and also general studies on certain sectors. Then we give policy advice. We carry out advocacy works. We do a lot of things, Anora. Just to with a vision to promote the competition. In our country, feel that it is time for Malaysia to accept the principle of competition in their economy. And come this 1st April, we will be 15 years old.
15 years old.
Yeah, MYCC. Wow. So we are considered as a young agency.
A teenager. Teenager,
yeah. We are just about
time to rebel, I guess.
Yes, you're right. Yeah. So I think that's all for now. Yeah.
That's very good to learn.
Yeah.
And would you? I know 15 years does not sound like a lot, but you have accomplished a lot within each of those years.
Yeah.
Would you please highlight some of the most important accomplishments, perhaps, in the past 12 months of the MYCC?
Okay, we've been focusing our resources on fighting these bid rigging cartels in public procurement. So far we managed to penalize 26 companies in the tune of around $25 million penalty. And then at the same time, we carried out market reviews on digital economy sectors. We look into 5 subsectors which are very important, which basically became part and parcel of our life. You have your phone, Anora. I mean, you do book your hotels not through the physical travel agent anymore, right?
Yep.
You go through Traveloka or hotel.com and others. So these sectors, this subsector is one of the sector that we look at in our market review. And then we are in the midst of expanding because we've been given a lot of other tasks by the government to look in certain things, matters in the economy sector. We are also on the verge of amending our laws. After 15 years, I think it's about time for us to amend our law so that we can, rectify certain flaws in the law. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you already mentioned that the Commission is undertaking comprehensive market review or studies of Malaysia's digital economy.
Yeah.
So what are the most concerning competition risks that you've identified so far, particularly with respect to perhaps some global platforms?
Okay, as you know, the market is concentrated within certain players. Until you can see what happened in Europe. They have this digital market acts where they identify certain gatekeepers in this digital economy sector. So they are also in Malaysia also. So these are the things that we have to face, and then we have identified certain issues in these sectors. So we have put out some recommendation on how to resolve those issues. As you know, many of them have been penalized by many competition agencies all over the world. So there are certain practices that are being carried out in Malaysia, the one that has been prohibited in other countries. So we are taking this soft enforcement approach to resolve this issue, because we feel that it's better that sometimes you feel that there is not much we can do, because the thing is, it's proven already, outside Malaysia, and then they are doing the same thing in Malaysia.
Yeah.
So it's better that we talk to them and then just presented the decision of other jurisdiction, and then and then ask them what they can do, to rectify things.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think you've indicated, or MYCC has indicated plans to introduce a merger control regime and strengthen the competition law. And you said amendment to the law. What gaps in the current framework are there that these reforms are intended to address?
Okay. Our laws, there are three pillars under competition law. One is prohibition of cartel. The second one is prohibition abuse of dominant position. The third one is merger control regime. So we have the first two, but not the third. Yeah. So we are working on it. Yeah. But in the exercise to amend our laws, we are focusing on improving our investigation and enforcement power first. And then the second phase, once we are over with the first phase, to somehow make things better within our investigation powers, we want to focus on what we call it, in the second phase, the centralization of competition powers under MYCC. Because for your information, in Malaysia, there are certain sector regulators like Energy Commission, Multimedia and Communication Commission, and then also Civil Aviation Authority. They have competition powers. So the government has this vision whereby they want to centralize all the competition power under MYCC.
I see.
So in doing so, we are going to introduce the merger control regime, hopefully. Because funny enough, we don't have that power, that merger control regime, but the sector regulators, they have it. So it's not easy to,
to take power away from agencies.
Yeah, it's a very sensitive issue, right?
Right.
But this is the, vision, the plan of the government, and we are government officers. We just have to follow, the orders.
Right.
Yeah.
And timeline-wise, when do you think this transition or change is going to happen?
Okay, the first phase we are targeting to complete by this year.
Yeah.
The second phase by or before 2030.
Before 2030.
Yeah, because it's a big task,
Right.
Yeah, when we talk about energy sectors, although there are not many players in that sector, but it's a huge, market.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. So looking forward, if you may, and we're not looking at a crystal ball or anything, but do you anticipate any major shifts or trends in competition enforcement in Malaysia or elsewhere?
Yes. Right now, our focus now, while we want to amend the law, to go for these changes, we are focusing on 3 types of cartels. Okay, our first priority is on cartels. First is cartels in the public procurement, bid rigging cartels. The second one is cartels in food and agriculture sectors. The third one is cartels in essential services. If you notice, Anora, all these 3 are linked to cost of living issues. Yeah, so cost of living issues are is a worry to all to many countries in this world, including US. Recently, last year, remember, the price of eggs went up in US per tray. It would cost around $8, I think. Yeah, now it has gone down because of the price increase was because of the avian flu. Yeah, but we were told that DOJ have initiated an investigation last year. Yeah, so they're still on it. Yeah, so this just because of eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
Similarly.
There's a saying, hungry people is an angry people.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Any other, we talked about long-term, some sort of amendment reforms that's coming along, but within short-term, like within the next month, any other enforcement priorities that you would like to highlight?
We have certain cases. We have 5 cases that is still ongoing. We have issued a proposed decision. We have a system where we call a civil prosecution. It's not criminal prosecution like in US and Japan and others. So if they are involved in cartels, we take action, we investigate, but we penalize financially. We don't, put them in prison or what. So we have this. Before we issue the final decision, we issue proposed decision. So they have to go through this representation session where they put up their defense to us. So we are trying to complete all these 5 cases. 2 of the cases are in relation to childcare services. We found out that there are certain enterprises in this childcare industry, they have formed a cartel.
Right.
Yeah, and childcare, is part of essential services.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, especially nowadays, both parents are working, so they have to rely on childcare. So, any increase in the childcare services in its fee, is going to burden them in some ways.
Yeah, childcare.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything we talked about so far is very close to like eggs, childcare, cost of living.
Yeah.
Very good to get these updates from you. So we don't have a lot of time here.
Yes, I understand that.
But since we do have you in person, we would like to give our audience the opportunity to know you a little bit as a person.
Yes.
So would you tell us something that's sort of like your hobbies or interests that you have that's outside of your work?
I love fishing.
You love fishing?
Yes. It's just that I wish that I have more time to do it. That's one. And then the second thing is that I would love to, once when I was young, Anora.
Yes, still. You were talking about just younger years.
I was involved in a lot of outdoor sports activities. I play rugby, I play cricket, I play soccer. So I would like to, be involved again in this kind of activities. I know age is catching up, but the thing is, with latest technology in this world, everything is possible, right? Yeah. I'm not going for bionic, feet or whatever it is. It's just that.
Fishing is a great activity, I have to say.
Yeah, to have your me time,
Do you have any special kind of fishing technique? You use any lures specifically?
You know fishing a bit, right?
I watch short form videos.
I would love, the area that I love to go is, at the intersection of river and the sea.
River and sea, okay.
So you can catch 2 types of fishes, the saltwater fishes and also the one that in the river. Yeah. So you have more options.
Yeah.
And then you have to apply more skills in catching them.
That's definitely a sports by itself.
Yeah, if you want to talk about fishing, it will take another 10 minutes.
Another whole episode,
Yeah.
and we would love to devote time
Yeah.
to that in a future episode.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Iskandar. It's our pleasure, and hopefully we can catch up again
Same here.
later. I'm here with a special guest, Teenie Yu, who is of counsel with the Hong Kong Competition Commission, which is known as HKCC. And Teenie has been with HKCC since 2021.
Correct.
Teenie handles the Commission's proceedings before the Hong Kong Competition Tribunal, including cartel and abuse of dominance cases. She also advises on investigations and litigation, acts as the Commission's advocate in search warrant applications, and supports the legal division on research and advisory work. Teenie is dual qualified in Hong Kong and England and Wales. Prior to joining HKCC, Teenie was in private practice working at a local solicitor's firm in Hong Kong, focusing on civil litigation and commercial litigation. Thank you for joining us, Teenie.
Hi, Anora. Thank you for having me.
So for people who are not familiar or have listened to our episode last year but not remember all of it, perhaps, Teenie, you can give us a highlight of just a reminder of what the HKCC's commission and mandates are.
Yeah, sure, Anora. So HKCC is an independent statutory body established under the Competition Ordinance, which was enacted back in June 2012, and it came into full effect in December 2015. So we're still relatively a young agency. We are not particularly sizable as well, but we are still very ambitious in our enforcement work. In terms of organizational structure, the decision-making body is the board, which comprised of 16 members from different backgrounds, including legal, business, academia, and we have an executive core arm supported by around 90 staff at the moment. The HKCC is tasked with various functions, including to investigate conduct that may contravene the competition ordinance and to enforce the provisions of the ordinance. We also conduct market studies and researches. We advise the government on competition matters. We promote the public understanding of competition law, and as well as the business's compliance with the competition ordinance. So different from our European counterpart, we have a judicial enforcement prosecutorial model in Hong Kong instead of an administrative model. So we will investigate cases and bring appropriate ones before the competition tribunal for adjudication on both liability and penalty. So the Competition Tribunal is the specialist first instance court in Hong Kong dealing with competition law infringements. And we are the only authority which would prosecute contraventions of competition rule, and there is no right of standalone action by private parties. It is, however, possible to have private follow-on actions following the tribunal's determination of a contravention. Perhaps let me also briefly introduce our law. Our law is actually modeled on EU law. So EU law is of great reference value to our interpretation and application of the rules in Hong Kong. And there are also specific provisions which are imported from Canadian and Australian statutes. We have, in essence, 3 pillars in our law, namely the first conduct rule, which is like the cartel provision, say Article 101 of the TFEU. We also have the second conduct rule, which is like the abuse of dominance provision under Article 102 of TFEU. We also have the merger rule, which is currently confined to the telecommunications sector at present, and we share concurrent jurisdiction with the Communications Authority in this.
That's a wonderful and very packed with information introduction. So Teenie, perhaps you told us HKCC is not so much an old agency, it's a very young agency, but you're accomplishing a lot each year. And perhaps you can highlight some of that?
Yeah, sure. If I may describe 2024 as a year packed with complex 2024 is a year packed with complex trials, and 2025 is definitely a year featured with dawn raids and warrant applications. We carried out 4 raids altogether from 2025 to January 2026. 3 out of these 4 raids concern the building maintenance and renovation sector in Hong Kong, particularly suspected bid rigging activities in tendering for large-scale renovation projects in Hong Kong. So when we talk about building maintenance and renovation, we are not just referring to the interior decoration of individual units, but we are referring to maintenance of all the common parts of the multi-story buildings, so including external walls, staircases, lobbies, water pipes, and so on of the entire building. So you would appreciate that the scale and the stakes involved are actually so high. And apart from our high-rise building, what is more special in Hong Kong is that the government will issue mandatory building inspection notice against buildings aged 30 years or above, which requires the property owners to carry out inspection to see which parts of the common parts require repair, and then engage a contractor for the prescribed repair. So it's not so much of an option for you to upgrade your property. It's in fact a statutory obligation for you to comply with the notice. So the bid rigging and other anti-competitive conduct is actually quite rampant and entrenched in the building maintenance sector. This is also perhaps explained by how intricate are the relationship among the different players in the process, say the building consultants, the contractors, property management companies, and even the incorporated owners of the buildings. So I'm actually now in a position to share with you that we have actually just taken out a fresh enforcement action 2 days ago. Also against...
So that means March 20, somewhere in March.
Yeah, because we have the 12 hours time difference.
Right.
So it should be 2 days ago, 24th of March. So the new fresh enforcement action is also targeting building maintenance sector. Our case is that a number of building contractors have colluded together. They engage in bid rigging, price fixing, market sharing, and exchange of competitively sensitive information while bidding for large-scale building maintenance projects in over 11 housing estates in Hong Kong. So we suspect that the affected contract amount is as high as 700 million Hong Kong dollars, so around 90 million US dollar. So one of the peculiar features in this case is the enforcement of a bid rigging syndicate and the presence of a central coordinator. So how it works is that the central coordinator will select some building maintenance projects, and he will call upon the members of the syndicate to submit a bid for that certain project at a certain price. And there may be different combination of bidders for different projects, but which would all be coordinated behind the scene. And what is more interesting is that the syndicate, via some middlemen, would disseminate what they call homework to the members of the syndicate. And the homework actually contained bidding prices for that particular member. So the member would just copy the homework and then prepare a bid in accordance with or with reference to the prices provided.
I have to say I'm a little torn while listening to your introduction to the case. I was like, are we teaching people how to actually run a syndicate? The details.
It's a very tightly organized structure.
Right. So one of the other things that I would want to mention, and perhaps you can highlight, is I feel like HKCC is always producing or creating these movie quality promotional materials about competition law that's released to the public. Can you tell us something about that too?
Yeah, sure. Aside from our enforcement work, we do place heavy emphasis on our advocacy work as well, because we believe that prevention is always better than cure. So with a view to educating the businesses and the general public about the importance of competing on a level playing field, we launched a new campaign last year with a specific theme on information exchange. So our citywide campaign includes some TV advertisement as well as one short drama series called Forbidden Secrets.
Oh wow, sounds very, very interesting.
Yeah, so the setting is like that. There are two storeholders in a wet market. They started developing some sort of romantic relationship.
Oh, wow.
And they started, the male character started writing some so-called love messages on papers and then passed to the female character. But those love messages actually turn out to be future prices for fresh fruits. Say $3 for apple, $10 for grapes, etc.
Right.
So shortly after, the female character realized that, it may actually be against the law to disclose future pricing intentions. And he told the male character, no, I want to get rid of this relationship and stop the practices. Yeah. So we hope that these very lively and approachable means could help us to reach out to the people, to the general public in Hong Kong, to tell them to be more vigilant of the risk of information exchange. Of course, not all kinds of information exchange are prohibited. Some may be beneficial, for instance, if you exchange information on best practices in the industry, but exchange of competitively sensitive information like prices, costs, pricing strategies, these are definitely harmful. So we wish that the public as well as the businesses could steer clear of these anti-competitive practices.
Definitely some very creative and hopefully very effective ways of advocacy that HKCC is using. So looking forward, we're sitting here in in the early part of 2026. Can you tell us some of the highest enforcement priorities of the HKCC in the next perhaps 12 months?
Yes, definitely. Tackling bid rigging and other anti-competitive practices in the building maintenance sector is definitely one of our top priorities in 2026. In fact, HKCC has been paying very close attention to the building maintenance sector these few years. Since 2022, we've commenced 5 investigations into the building maintenance sector in Hong Kong, covering at least over 80 residential and industrial estates and involve over 60 companies. So in addition to our efforts to tackle anti-competitive practices in the building maintenance sector, the very tragic fire which happened in Hong Kong last November also sparked unprecedented public concern over bid rigging in this particular sector. As the international community may also be aware of, the fire was one of the deadliest which ever happened in Hong Kong history. So the entire housing estate were under mandatory large-scale maintenance at the time when the fire broke out. And it was suspected that the use of some substandard building materials, like non-fire retardant scaffolding net, may have aggravated the spread of the fire. And so the quality of the building materials is now in question. The integrity of the building contractors and the consultants is also called into question. And these all underlie the issue of bid rigging. So we will spare no effort to prosecute these scandalous contractors and consultants in the building maintenance sector in the coming year. And in relation to the fire, we are also assisting with an investigation by the independent committee, which was set up by the government after the fire to look into, amongst other, the systemic problems on large-scale building maintenance works in Hong Kong, and to review the adequacy of our existing regulations and penalties. So we've talked quite a lot about building maintenance sector and the related investigation, but we never lose sight of other areas which remain equally important to the society in Hong Kong. We have announced 3 enforcement priorities earlier. First, we focus on targeting cartel conduct that affects people's livelihood. So entrenched anti-competitive practices in the building maintenance sector definitely directly affects people's livelihood. Second, we also focus on cartel conduct that exploits public money. That would relate to public procurement of goods and services using the public purse, and also projects or contracts funded by government subsidies. Third, we also pay attention to the digital market and digital economy. We aim to keep abreast of the latest trends so that we could stay on top of the involvement in this particular sector.
Very exciting and important work that you and your colleagues are engaging in. Looking ahead, it's not easy, right, to do your jobs. What are the biggest challenges perhaps you're facing?
One of the key challenges is definitely the current standard of proof in proceedings where we seek pecuniary penalties. Our law is actually civil in nature. We adopt civil procedures in proceedings before the competition tribunal. But interestingly, the current standard of proof is the criminal standard of proof beyond reasonable doubt.
Oh, wow.
So, this is laid down in our first competition law case, as our local jurisprudence provides that the imposition of pecuniary penalties, that is, or very heavy financial penalties, actually involve the determination of a criminal charge within the meaning of the Hong Kong Bill of Rights. So the starting point would be a criminal standard in the absence of any express legislative provisions or by way of necessary implication. So the ordinance itself is silent on the standard of proof. We have in fact sought to argue before the Court of Appeal that there has in fact been a derogation to the Hong Kong Bill of Rights by way of necessary implication, because a criminal standard may potentially frustrate our effective enforcement of competition law. So at the time, the Court of Appeal did observe an arbiter that there is a reasonable, arguable basis on this. So our position is that the standard of proof shall be varied from the default criminal one to a civil one by way of necessary implication. This would greatly facilitate our work. Otherwise, we may have some sort of difficulties in importing some well-established presumptions in the competition world, such as ANIC presumption and AXL presumption.
This makes a lot of sense, and it's very thoughtful. So we don't have a lot of time here, and I know we can go on and with more knowledge and excitement about the work you do. But we do want to give our audience the opportunity to learn about you as a person. So perhaps you can share a little bit about your interests or hobbies that you have outside of all this competition law world we just talked about?
Yeah, definitely. I love traveling a lot. I love to learn more about the history, culture, heritage, and architecture of different places. And at the same time, appreciate the city landscape and the captivating natural landscape, which is unique to each place. Besides, I pick up a new skill in recent years, which may not be properly described as a hobby or interest as such, but a regular activity that I would do among my extended family members, and that is playing mahjong. This is perhaps more well known in the Asian or Chinese community. I'm definitely not encouraging illegal gambling.
Not gambling.
With mahjong.
It's a sport. It's a
yeah.
sport. Very
but
healthy
I find
one.
it to be a very useful tool in training the cognitive skills of the elder family members. And it is actually very beneficial to people of all ages, as this table game requires you to keep thinking and keep evaluating your strategies while making the best combination of the tiles, and at the same time monitor the other strategies and react to them. So it is a very stimulating and interactive exercise.
Board game,
Yes, which could enhance your bonding with your family and friends as well.
I have to say, one of the proudest things that I've done in law school is that I started a sort of like informal mahjong society.
Oh, okay, what an
year.
achievement.
Yes, so I very much echo your passion for that one. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you, Anora. Thank you.
And thank you for listening in and watching.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of our Curious Amalgam, a competition, consumer protection, data protection, and privacy law podcast. It is produced and shared around the globe by ABA's Antitrust Law Section. The opinions expressed by the participants in this podcast are their own and do not necessarily represent their employer or other organizations. If you like what you heard or would like to become a member of the American Bar Association, please check out what the Antitrust section has to offer at ambar.org/antitrust. You can learn more about our podcast at ourcuriousamalgam.com. If you have comments, suggestions, or podcast ideas, please reach out to us at podcast@ourcuriousamalgam.com. Until next time, thank you for listening.